Hello everyone, welcome back to my show. Here's Socks. You can see his ears, look. Hang on. He's just woken up. He was making little singing noises, weren't you? There he is. I hope everybody's well. It's Friday afternoon and it's a bank holiday weekend. The weather's going to change and turn a bit wet, which is a bit annoying. I would have loved to have had a sunny weekend. Never mind. What have I been doing? I finished editing this novel that I read a piece of the other day, the Cozy Bookish Omnibus. So it's finished. I'm going to think about what to do with that and about bringing that out. I really like it though. I think it says exactly what I want. And I wish I'd not been deterred from putting it out somehow earlier. Yeah, it's a very kind of life-affirming book, a very gentle book. And I was told that that isn't the kind of thing that people want. Anyway, it was quite good to get to the end of doing that because I've written nothing this week. There's nothing new apart from my journal this week. Been quite a bit of art, but mostly considering this older book. Older, it's only whenever it was. Actually, I think it was the year of lockdown, first year of lockdown 2020, which is actually quite a long time ago now. So most of my thinking has been about that. And it's kind of a road not taken as well. When you write novels, one leads to the next. And if one gets stymied or cancelled or spoiled, it can mean reorienting yourself. It's very damaging. It's a bit like being a tree and having branches lopped off. It's exactly what it feels like to be pollarded or to have tree surgery. Anyway, that's that, and that took 3 or 4 days of working through. What else? Today, I did a podcast interview that didn't record, or the files weren't, I don't know, saved or something. So I'm going to have to do that again. It was quite a nice interview, but it's gone into the ether and gone forever. It's just slightly... it was a nice person I was talking to, but anyway. And I'll give myself a bit of a headache. Drawing on my iPad. So I'm going to stop and simply read. I'm going to finish reading this, which I've been on with for a couple of days, Benton and Hawthorne Investigate by Lucy McCall, which I raved about the other day when I'd read the first bit, and I still love it as much. It's got into kind of John le Carré territory, or Frederick Forsyth territory, the kind of Cold War spies genre. But of course in this, Miss Hawthorne and her pretend nephew, Sergeant Benton, end up on a German river cruise while they're spying in the early 70s. It's just all enjoyable. I love adventures where people stop to have tea or think about where they're going next and what they need to book ahead. It's very sensible. It's a very sensible kind of adventure. Yeah, so I thoroughly recommend this. I've got to think about what's next. I just have a few days of the month left, and still a small heap of things in my book basket, my book bag, and I just don't know if I fancy them or not. Because what I fancy reading again is Eragon, which I read years ago, probably 20 years ago, and I remember nothing about it at all. Yep, 2004 it first came out, so I probably had it in 2005, which makes it 20 years. I fancied something with dragons because a week or two ago I rewatched Pete's Dragon, the Disney movie, which I loved as a kid and still love, it turns out. And thinking about how I love anything with dragons, and Miss Hawthorne made me think about... Is it wyverns? Wyverns. I don't know how to say it. Wyverns. Anyway, so I have been thinking about dragons, and I'd like to read something dragony. And maybe the beginning of a series. Somewhere I've got Fourth Wing, but it's in one of the bags and waiting for me deep down in those book bags. And I don't want to dig around too much because that will spoil all the surprises. Something else I've got to read for next month's book club is this, the octopus book, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I've heard mixed views from people in book club who've read ahead. So that's on my radar for the next little while as well. It would be nice just to have a quiet bank holiday with no plans and just books. That would please me inordinately. Is that wrong? Is it wrong to look for time off that you spend not seeing anybody and not doing anything beyond reading? It's funny, when I first started watching these videos and people were doing quite zippy, energetic booktube videos and raving and getting excited, it did make me think that reading is the most boring thing in the world to watch. All the activities going on inside, isn't it? We have this endless capacity for everything going on inside our heads, while absolutely nothing goes on the outside. In fact, the less you're doing on the outside, the better. You want to be sat somewhere comfy with nothing going on to distract you. Socks lifted up his head then, as if in reply that suited him perfectly as well. And of course, the reason he sits on my lap all day long and all evening long is because I don't move. Or I do move, but when I sit still, I really do sit still. I'm quite good at it. Just watch people. People find it quite hard to sit still. Readers love sitting still. It's their favourite thing. What else do I have to tell you? I'm waiting for notes on something, but mostly I've finished all the lists of things that I need to tick off, which seems amazing. It's one of those moments. And I'm kind of buzzing with ideas for what I do and where I go next. And actually, having reread The Cozy Bookish Omnibus is suggesting ideas to me. I've just got the contracts for a new project, which I can't tell you about yet, but which will be something I'll be writing during some of the autumn. I'm still looking to ways of filling up the autumn with work. This is the freelance life. This is what you do. You fill up the months ahead, knowing hopefully what you're going to be doing and not just buggering about. Okay, I might toy with the idea of having a small group of, I think they're called beta readers, just to kind of get some opinions on this book that I want to put out, on this new novel. I don't know if anybody out there's keen on reading something in advance as a kind of, just as a Word doc. Let me know. Let me know if you'd like to read something by me. And then being quoted on the cover. That would be nice. If I got some nice quotes from people. It's funny, I'm never really bothered or swayed by the quotes from famous people on book covers. Unless they're saying something useful and decent. I think when you can tell that the person's read the book and actually has something to say about it, that's when it's useful. I'll never forget the students of mine who got published at various points when I was teaching, lecturing at UEA and MMU, and quite a lot of people got published, and some of them quite high profile. And of course, I'd have read these books as they went along, and when they got their deals, would send me their book, sometimes for more comments, in a few cases, for quite a lot of work I'd be doing after I'd left the university where I taught them. Anyway, they'd solicit a quote from me, and then because I was nobody, it would never even get on the book anyway. So that was nice. Because I take it quite seriously when people have asked for a blurb or a quote. But never mind. It's nice to be asked. But I think, anyway, doesn't matter. There was another story I was going to tell about blurbs, and I forget what it was. Something funny. It's all daft, really. And I think publishers are doing it less on the covers, getting people to blurb for each other, which is probably a good thing. I like the idea of real readers doing blurbs, and people who read things because they've come to them through things like BookTube, which, you know, shows a dedication to bookish things. I think watching all these videos of people like me going on and on and on with my recommendations, and then going off and spending money on books because I've recommended them. I'm bankrupting people all over the place with my recommendations, I think. I hope not. Anyway, I'm going to go. I hope everyone is going to have a nice weekend. I think it's a kind of a holiday weekend with a Monday off for quite a lot of people. So let's all pray for sun and peace. That would be nice. Less bother all round. That's what we want. Okay, everyone. Goodbye. Socks on my lap is saying goodbye as well. I can't lift him up. He's completely flat. He just becomes this big, I don't know. What do you become, Socks? He's like a fur stole just draped. Goodbye, everyone. I will see you again quite soon.